Hi nerds! Today I'm going to talk about one of the most important aspects of your book, and that is the point of view character or characters. So one of the decisions that you have to make really early on in writing your book is the point of view. Is it first person, third person? Is it one character? Is it multiple characters? Which character or characters is it? And today I mostly want to focus on which character should be your point of view character and if you should have multiple point of view characters. Even when writing in third person, there is usually a character whose eyes we are seeing the story. Of course, you can do omniscient, where it looks at all the characters or goes into all the characters' minds and switches back and forth. I'm not a big fan of it. It's very difficult to do. There are some authors who do it very well, but it's definitely a risky choice and not one that I would take myself. I almost always write in third person limited. It's what I'm most comfortable in and it's what I enjoy reading the most, and I usually have at least 2 point of view characters. Of course, sometimes you only need 1 point of view, and usually it's pretty obvious which character that should be. I mean, it's usually the character whose story you're telling, the character who is going to go through all of the growth and change, the character who's going to be making the big decisions. In the manuscript I finished earlier this year, it was really easy deciding whose point of view the story would be through. I had 2 main characters who both had very strong character arcs, and so the story was split pretty equally between the 2 of them point of view wise. My current manuscript, it took a little bit more thought to figure this out. I had 1 character from the very beginning who I knew would be a point of view character. Actually, when I first started outlining, it was all from her point of view. It was just going to be her. There are actually 5 major characters in this book, which can be a little bit difficult at times to juggle, and I knew I didn't want to do all 5 as POV characters because that just felt like too much to me. But as I finished outlining and started drafting, I started to think that 2 of the other characters might have a unique viewpoint and enough character growth that they needed their own point of view in the book. I wanted to really capture their emotions and their struggles and their arc, and also wanted to have some scenes that maybe the original main character might not be present for. So I'm currently writing it with 3 points of view. It's mostly centered on that original character who I knew would be the point of view character, but I also mix in scenes for the other 2 characters. You can definitely do that. Don't think that because you have multiple points of view, you have to give each of those characters an equal number of scenes. You can weight it more towards 1 or 2 of them if you'd like. So that is how I am writing this book right now, 3 points of view, and who knows, maybe when I get to the end and go back to edit, I will realize that I didn't need 1 or 2 of those points of view and I will take them out. But it's definitely helping me at the very least to get to know those 2 extra characters and how they are feeling and what they are experiencing so I can know them better. So should you have more than 1 point of view character? How do you figure it out? I usually consider a few things. Like I said, part of the reason I've added in 2 more points of view in my current manuscript is because those characters had such strong character arcs and emotions that I wanted to explore more. So definitely if a character is going to be a point of view character, they need to have their own character arc. You also have to consider the scenes that you want your readers to see. Like I said earlier, there are a few scenes that I want to include that my original main character would not be there for. So if you have 1 character who is going on a quest, but there are also important things still happening back at court, you might need those 2 different point of views so that the reader can see both things. And also, particularly if you're doing first person, you'll want to make sure that the character has a strong enough voice to be captivating and interesting on the page. One last thing that you'll want to consider when considering your point of view characters, and this particularly applies to figuring out which scene is from which character's point of view, but you need to think about what secrets you want to keep from your readers. If one of your characters has a huge secret that you are keeping from the readers, you might want to stay away from their point of view. Of course, you can have point of view characters who are keeping secrets from the readers. It is possible to do, it's done all the time. For example, Selena in the Throne of Glass series keeps a really big secret until the end of the 2nd book. But it is difficult, and if it's the kind of secret that that character would be thinking about all the time, like maybe they are betraying their country or their friends and they're really feeling guilty about it, and you don't want the reader to know about that, you might have to stay away from their point of view. And like I said, just knowing what you want to reveal where will help you in figuring out which character should be the point of view for which scenes, if that made sense. Anyway, I think this might have been a little bit rambly and all over the place, but hopefully it has been helpful in some way or has gotten you thinking about the points of view in your books, because it's definitely something that I think about a lot. Writing multiple points of view is definitely not easy, but I really enjoy it. Like I said, it's pretty much what I always do. I can't help myself. I always think I'll have one point of view character and I always end up adding another one. I hope y'all have a great week and you get lots of writing done. If you don't, or if you do and you just want to get more done, make sure to join us this Sunday at 7:30 Eastern Time, because we're going to have a good old-fashioned write-in. See you guys then.